The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden hue across the landscape. But for me, the world felt shrouded in an unyielding darkness. I stood at the edge of a vast forest, its towering trees swaying gently in the evening breeze, their leaves whispering secrets I longed to understand. This was the place where I would confront the shadows that had taken residence in my heart, a sanctuary where I hoped to uncover the strength buried deep within me. It had been a year since the storm began to rage in my life. The winds howled with the harshness of loss, and the rain fell in torrents, drenching my spirit and leaving me feeling like a mere shell of my former self. I had lost my job, a position I had dedicated years to, and with it, my sense of purpose. It was as if the ground beneath my feet had given way, leaving me to tumble into an abyss of uncertainty and fear. My days blurred into a monotonous haze, each moment feeling heavier than the last, as if I were trudging through thick mud that clung to my legs, pulling me down. In those dark days, I found myself retreating into the solace of nature. I would wander through the woods, seeking refuge among the ancient trees that stood like guardians against the chaos of the world. Their gnarled branches reached for the sky, and I often imagined they were stretching toward the light, yearning to break free from the confines of the earth. I envied their resilience, their ability to weather the storms that battered them year after year, their roots digging deeper into the soil, anchoring them firmly even when the winds threatened to uproot them. One particularly bleak afternoon, I found myself at the base of a towering oak tree, its trunk wide and sturdy, a testament to years of endurance. I sat down on the cool earth, leaning against its rough bark, and closed my eyes, letting the sounds of the forest wash over me. The rustling leaves, the distant call of a bird, the gentle trickle of a nearby stream. It all seemed to meld into a symphony of life that resonated within me. In that moment of stillness, I allowed my thoughts to drift, reflecting on the challenges I faced. The loss of my job had not only stripped me of my daily routine, but had also taken away my sense of identity. I felt adrift, like a leaf caught in a whirlwind, spinning aimlessly without direction. I had always prided myself on my work ethic, my determination to succeed. But now I was left questioning everything I had ever believed about myself. I thought of the oak tree standing firm against the elements and wondered how it managed to thrive despite the storms. Perhaps it was the deep roots that grounded it, the connections it had forged with the earth around it. As I sat there, I realized that I needed to dig deep within myself, to find my own roots, my own connections that would help me weather this storm. I had spent so long focusing on what I had lost that I had neglected to see the potential for growth that lay within me. The oak tree did not simply endure the storms. It thrived because of them, its bark growing thicker, its branches spreading wider as it adapted to its environment. I needed to embrace my challenges, to see them not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. With newfound determination, I began to explore the depths of my own strength. I sought out new experiences, pushing myself beyond the boundaries I had once set. I enrolled in a local art class, something I had always dreamed of but never pursued due to the demands of my job. The first time I stepped into the studio, I felt a rush of exhilaration mixed with fear. The walls were adorned with vibrant paintings that seemed to pulse with life, and I was acutely aware of my own insecurities as I picked up a paintbrush for the first time. But as I began to create, I felt the weight of my worries lift. Each stroke of the brush became a release, a way to channel my emotions into something tangible and beautiful. I painted the forest that had become my refuge, capturing the essence of the towering trees and the dappled sunlight that filtered through the leaves. With every layer of paint, I was not only expressing my grief, but also celebrating my resilience. I was transforming my pain into art, much like the oak tree transformed the harshness of winter into the beauty of spring. As the months passed, I continued to explore the world around me, immersing myself in nature and creativity. I took long hikes through the woods, allowing the beauty of the landscape to inspire me. I discovered hidden trails that led to breathtaking vistas where I could stand on a ridge and gaze out at the rolling hills, a patchwork of greens and golds stretching as far as the eye could see. In those moments, I felt a sense of freedom, a reminder that life was vast and full of possibilities. One day, as I stood atop a hill, the wind tousling my hair, I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. The air was crisp and invigorating, filling my lungs with the scent of pine and earth. I thought about how far I had come since that dark time in my life. I had learned to embrace change, to adapt like the trees that swayed in the wind, bending but never breaking. I realized that strength was not just about enduring, it was about growing, evolving, and finding beauty in the struggle. It was during one of these hikes that I encountered a small clearing filled with wildflowers, their vibrant colors dancing in the sunlight. I knelt down to admire them, feeling a sense of awe wash over me. Each flower, unique in its shape and hue, had managed to bloom in the midst of adversity. They had pushed through the soil, reaching for the light, and I felt a kinship with them. I, too, had the power to rise above my circumstances, to bloom despite the darkness that had once enveloped me. In that moment, I understood that overcoming challenges was not a solitary journey. It was a shared experience that connected us all. Just as the forest thrived as a community, each tree supporting the others, so too did we find strength in our connections with one another. I began to reach out to friends and family, sharing my journey with them, and in turn listening to their stories of struggle and triumph. We formed a network of support, a tapestry woven from our experiences, each thread representing a moment of vulnerability and strength. As the seasons changed, so too did I. The darkness that had once consumed me began to fade, replaced by a light that radiated from within. I found joy in the small things, a warm cup of tea on a chilly morning, the laughter of friends gathered around a table, the beauty of a sunset painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. I learned to appreciate the present moment, to savor the sweetness of life even amidst its challenges. Looking back, I realized that the darkest time of my life had become a catalyst for transformation. It had forced me to confront my fears, to dig deep within myself, and to discover a reservoir of strength I never knew existed. I had learned to embrace change, to adapt like the trees that stood tall in the face of adversity, and to find beauty in the struggle. As I stood in that forest, surrounded by the vibrant colors of nature, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. The journey had not been easy, but it had shaped me into the person I was today, a person who understood the power of resilience, the importance of connection, and the beauty of growth. I had learned that life would always present challenges, but it was how we responded to those challenges that defined us. With a heart full of gratitude, I took a deep breath and stepped forward, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. The path before me was uncertain, but I knew that, like the trees that stood tall and proud, I had the strength to weather any storm. I was no longer a leaf caught in the wind. I was a rooted tree, grounded in my experiences and flourishing in the light of hope.